Hi, this is Stacy Sanchez from Heart Prince of God, and today I want to talk about our talents. Everybody has some, and I hope and I pray that you have discovered what God has gifted you with and that you are using it all for the glory of God. This morning I was reading, I want to say Luke 18, I think. And it was about the parable where the master had given away the talents to the servants, and he gave them these talents expecting them to make a good return on his investment, right? And so he gave them these talents. He gave one 10, he gave one 5, he gave one 1, and then he went away. And when he came back, he was so happy because the one that he had given 10 to had brought a good return on that, right? And the one 5, the same thing. But the one who had only been given one talent had taken his talent, and instead of investing it, using it, making the most of it, he had hidden it because he was afraid he would lose it. And when the master came back to get the investment or to get back his talent, he wouldn't have anything to give him. So he thought the safest thing to do was to hide it. And I have to say, for probably 85-90% of my life, that was me. I was the one with the one talent. I know me. I know what I'm not able to do. I know what I'm not capable of. I had little to zero confidence in me. And if somebody would entrust me with something, I would have been just like that person. The safest thing that I would think that I could do with it, it was to hide it, to keep it safe, right? To not try to do anything with it because I would ruin it. I would lose it. I would mess it up. And that parable always scared me. I'm just going to say it scared me because I didn't want the Lord at the end of my life to look at me and say, Stacy, I gave you this talent. What did you do with it? And it wasn't until several years ago when I met my friend Ruthie, who was going through cancer, and she was a writer. We met online. I wrote, she wrote, and we both blogged, and God just brought us together in a beautiful heavenly connection there. But she ended up getting cancer, and her blog was called Ruthie's Gift, and she took cancer as that talent that the master had given her. She said, this is God's gift. He's entrusting me with it, and I'm going to use it the best I can. And she maxed out the gift of cancer. Every time she went to chemo, she would sit by different people and ask them, how are you getting through this? And then she would tell them about her God and how she was getting through it. She totally embraced what God had given her in her life. And she even had a license plate made for her car that said, use your gift. She was all about using your gifts. And when I would write, she would read and she would respond. But when I wouldn't write, she would then email me and she would say, keep writing. I'm still reading. Use your gift. And she, by far, is one of the main reasons why I write to this day. My relationship with her was short-lived because the cancer soon took her life, but the impact of her using that gift and of her speaking into my life to use my gift now is still going on years and years and years later. I think I met her like in 2013 or 14. So blessed to get to meet her. But I want to tell you this. God knows what he's entrusting you with. And if you think about it, the master gave 10 probably to the person he knew that he could risk 10 talents with, right? He knew, if I give this guy 10, he's going to probably take these 10 and do good with it, right? The next one, I'm only going to give him 5 because he probably will do it, but just maybe 5. And the one that he just gave 1 to, he knew, I'm not sure, I'm just going to entrust him with 1, right? God knows what we're capable of doing. He knows what we are capable on doing with the talents he's given to us in our life, but he expects us to do it, to use those talents for his glory, for his honor, to bring a return investment. So I guess what I'm trying to say through all of this today is, don't be afraid to use what God's given you. Don't be afraid to put it out there, to risk it, to experiment with it, to explore it, to try new ways to do it. Just do it. That's kind of what I've done with my writing, right? I just started writing on a blog, and then I started putting it on Facebook. And then when I lost my husband, people encouraged me to put it in a book. I did that. And now those books are going out and they're blessing people. And, God will take our gift and he will bring the return. It's not up to us to multiply it. It's up to us to be diligent about using it, to have the faith, to do what God's called us to do, and then allow God to multiply it. You think about the little boy who brought a lunch there when there were the 5,000 listening to Jesus. All he had to do was just entrust Jesus with his lunch, right? He had a lunch, he gave what he had to give, and then Jesus multiplied it. Jesus is the multiplier, but we have to be willing to put our gift out there, to hand it to him by doing something with it, so that he can then take it and multiply it, and that's what I pray. Every time I put a post on Facebook, every time I write something, I give it up to God, and I say, God, here's my fish and my loaves. This is all I have to give, but this is what I'm giving to you. Bless it, break it, and use it to feed the multitudes. And God is faithful to do that. He will do that with you too. What has God gifted you with? Use it for the King. Use it for his glory. Hand it to Jesus. Ask him to bless it, to break it, and he will use it to feed the multitudes. And then when he comes back, we will hear him say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. All right, keep looking for those heart prints and have a beautiful, blessed day.